Hi, welcome to a new video. In this video, we'll have a look at one of the patterns called SAGA pattern, and we'll try to code it in Java. So here we have the documentation for SAGA pattern. This is IBM site. So use the SAGA pattern to support long-running transactions that span multiple microservices. So a SAGA is a sequence of local transactions where each transaction updates data within a single service. Each next step can be triggered by the previous completion, and you have a simple example here. So you ordered a voyage, your order was created, it went into a pending state. Then when it was allocated, it went in a allocated state, then assigned, then your payment was processed, and at last the order was accepted. So let's have a look. We'll have the context as trade and maybe a payment service, and then we'll try to code it. Here we have our example. So we have two services here called trade service and payment service. Then we have a trade. So this is the basic POJO which carries the trade details, and we have our trade SAGA orchestrator, and this takes our services, calls the process trade on it. Whatever result we get, based on the result, we are printing a message of success or failure or rollback. So let's go one by one in each of the services. So here we have a trade service which implements SAGA. A SAGA interface has two methods called execute and compensate. Now our services actually implement both of them. So here we have our execute and here we have our compensate. So the basic thing in SAGA is, if step 1 was completed successfully and we go to step 2 and step 2 fails, we compensate for the first step because anyway the second step had never completed. Next, let's see our payment service. A simple service implements SAGA and actually gives some implementation to both the methods. These two services are taken by trade SAGA orchestrator in its constructor, sets it here. Then we call the process trade. So process trade takes the trade, calls execute on it. Whatever result we get, as this is the first step, if nothing goes over, we simply return false. You can consider it as a rollback. So SAGA is actually used for long-running transactions, and if one transaction fails, as this is the first transaction and it has failed, we don't need to go to the next one and we can simply roll back. Now we call the second step or second SAGA and we give it the trade, we take the payment result. This payment result, if it is false, so if this service has failed somehow, then we need to call compensate on the first service because first service actually had worked properly. So if it fails, we call compensate of the first service and we return false. If both the steps have completed successfully, we return true. We have it in a try catch block. If anything goes wrong, we simply roll back everything. So that's the basic premise of SAGA. Let's simply run it, and everything is successful. If you go to one of the services, maybe this one, and just change it to false and then run it again, now there is a failure and we have rolled back the transaction. So that's a simple example how SAGA can be implemented. Thanks for watching.